The Chicano Squad premieres right here in Houston, Texas. Hi there, I'm Ruchi Mukherjee, your host for International Society News magazine here at the Houston City Hall, bringing you all the details from this groundbreaking two-night documentary event.
So the Chicano Squad is the story of the first all-Latino homicide unit in the country. Back in the late 70s, Houston was the murder capital of the United States, and there was a lot of homicides specifically within the Latino community. And at the time, this was a very radical new idea to put together these patrolmen who were not detectives and form this squad, which they later dubbed the Chicano Squad, to kind of help solve these problems. And they had 90 days to do it. So it's kind of like a story of what happens when you give people an opportunity to prove their worth and also to make an impact on their communities. You know, we're talking about hardened police officers who are usually pretty reluctant to speak to the media. They don't really like cameras, making them realize that this is their legacy, their family's legacy, and also a part of the history of Houston. And this is something that people were forgetting, and to bring it to life now, and it's something that all of our families can be proud of. And also hearing the story from their mouths, you know, the opportunity to tell their own story versus someone telling it for them.
You have so much to say. There's so many things that you've experienced. Like I said, every homicide that I made, or that we made, is different. The things that you learn as you're going, what you see out there, what happens to you, and what people are capable of doing, and you see it with your own eyes. But something that you didn't experience, I had never experienced seeing a deceased person on the ground shot growing up. Then all of a sudden I'm doing this and I'm seeing it almost every day. That's a challenge to accept it.
I come from a long lineage of members of HPD, my family members. We come from many, many generations of HPD members, all the way up to my great-great-grandfather. And so close to me is my grandfather, James Montero. He was the sergeant of the Chicano Squad and helped get it started. I will get to view it for the first time on the premiere. Okay. So he'll be joining me, and we'll escort him in on Thursday evening to watch it. And from what I've heard, it's going to be wonderful.
We're always talking about being able to tell your own story, but I literally got to tell my own story, my family's story. You know, I think, as you know, I have a daughter now, so she's going to be able to see Grandpa in his prime.
It's a pivotal time at the police department. The Chicano Squad was very instrumental in developing relationships with our Spanish-speaking community. They were taken out of patrol because there wasn't many Spanish speakers in the homicide division, and they came in and did an amazing job building bridges within the community, and that attributes to their success in the solving of the crimes. They had an over 90% solve rate in the homicides, but they kind of took the bull by the horns and did an amazing job, and they continued, and with their expertise that they developed, they trained the future generations of homicide detectives for the city of Houston.
After their work, especially specifically in the early 2000s, you saw record people of color get promoted within HPD. So I think that big strides have happened since the Chicano Squad, and I also think that it's a good time in just the history of the city and maybe even the country to kind of reevaluate who we're giving opportunities to, and maybe there's a new version of this type of concept that can work to kind of address some of the issues that are going on in the city and the country today.
It's going to showcase a very difficult time at the Houston Police Department, right? It's going to showcase that they came in and did a great job against all odds.
We were able to break a barrier that was there not only with the Hispanic people, but in our office itself. It was hard for the detectives to accept us, okay? But they thought we were there to do their job. We were there to interpret. But as it grew and as it went, we got better at it, and we were good at what we were doing, and the general public came to us. We opened up those doors for them, let them know that not only do we care for you, we want to hear your story, because when I go to trial, I want to tell them your story. I'm going to be your spokesman. And it's hard for them to understand that. You're going to speak for me? I said, yeah, that's my job.
This segment has definitely been an emotional roller coaster. Hope you enjoyed this segment of Society with Ruchi with cameraman Jonathan Brown. See you next time.